Well, at this point in his career, in his development, I would like to see him have the ability, or at least, have a bit of a green light when it comes to fading off pick and roll and knocking down a 16-footer. But
There is no fading off pick and roll. Like
no,
name the player who shoots
no,
that shot on the Nets.
there just really is no mid-range threat besides, the two guys that are in suits on the bench right now, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Right.
That's really about all you got. Karis LeVert can every now and then
it.
come off a pick and roll, but he is what he is. He's kind of an inefficient shooter, and that's just what we can expect at this point. But to answer your question, like you're right. The Kenny Atkinson model of centers, it's well known around the league that he's an analytically inclined offensive mind. Where Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan, they're just rim running bigs. So if you neutralize that,
I don't think
there's really nothing else.
I don't think he's as analytical as. How do you play Garrett Temple as hard as he plays him? Like he is. So Kenny believes this thing that he likes having a coach on the floor. And the Giants' new head coach, Judge, said something to a reporter who asked him, "Are you going to go out and get some veterans to be your on-field coach?" He's like, "No." He's like, "This is professional football. You don't put on-field. He didn't say this part, but I was reading in between the lines. He was like, I'm the leader. I'm the head coach." And Kenny likes to have, whether it be Randy Foye in the first year, Jared Dudley and Damari Carroll in the second year, Garrett Temple. Now he has this profile of player that he always has, and not only is it those type of guys, but the Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot sized player, like Timothé is Nwaba's, and even though they're completely different players, but basically what he envisioned Nwaba to doing is what Timothé is doing, and the reason why Rodion's look shell shocked and Nick Claxton is getting almost 0 NBA minutes. And this is for you, Nolan.
Right.
As the Kenny Atkinson sympathizer, what with all those like what I consider just mortal sins, how do you defend the system? What is it in the system that you see from the coach that gives you confidence that this could be fixed?
With this roster as is, or like moving forward?
I'm just, you know what? Let me make it clearer, because
you do need to make it clearer, because next year's team is going to be different.
Yeah, I think it's going to be completely different.
So, and we're going to come to that, right?
Okay.
But
well, we do have to split it, and we have to be fair.
Yeah, of course. But here's the thing. I'm a firm believer in sample size. I'm a firm believer in data. And I try not to be a prisoner of the moment. I know KD and Kyrie are coming next year.
Right.
But this isn't about, they shouldn't be making the playoffs right now. They're 6 games under 500. Kenny believes these things that have never worked. Randy Foye was a net negative. And for as much as people love Jared Dudley, I think it's because he's a great politician. He kind of looks like and is built like Cory Booker to me. And now this year
we've all seen your Elmer Fudd memes. We know. Go on. Go on.
And
I don't disagree. He's not a great player. He's good. He's good at orchestrating things.
It's this mythology in Kenny that he believes that having these older, wizened players who can't run and jump. That's what I saw tonight. I saw this Atlanta team that ran circles around this Wilson Chandler and Garrett Temple, who also had a decent stat line.
He did have a good stat line, Temple.
No, he had himself a game. Gary Temple was one of our lone bright spots in that 20
But his defense was horrible. Nolan, I'm asking you.
What do you mean? He blocked Teague's dunk, man. Come on. I'm just kidding. I agree. He was pretty bad.
Cam Reddish ran around him like he wasn't there.
All right, can I just jump in for a second? The Hawks, they're in their youth movement, all right? Like with the Nets, if you look at the minutes distribution, right? You got Karis LeVert played 27 minutes, Harris played 28, Prince played 28, Temple played 29, okay? So with the Hawks, they're younger, it's weird. It's hard to sweep a team. We were 3-0 against Atlanta going in there. It's very hard to go 4-0 against any team in the NBA. Can we both agree on that?
Should have been 2-2. No, he should have been 2-2. Remember that fourth quarter meltdown the Hawks had in Barclays? They've played us, besides that one blow when we had Kyrie, they played us pretty well.
It's true, but my point is that it's hard. Do you agree, Nolan and Eve, that it's hard to go 4-0 against any team in the NBA, no matter what?
No, of course.
It's just hard. But, okay, so you have that, right? You have Atlanta, who's essentially out of the playoffs. You have the Nets fighting for 7th or 8th. They're on the road. They're without their 2 best players. And you're playing against a younger team in the Hawks who have a green light to shoot the 3 with nothing to win or lose, really. And you have the Nets who are allowing them to shoot the 3. And you have John Collins going 11 of 15 from the field and 3 of 4 from 3 and 8 of 10 from the free throw line, and no answers for it. It's a recipe for disaster, if you ask me. I mean, the Hawks the points off turnovers. They have 22 points off our turnovers. They were better in transition. They were more athletic. They were faster. You can point to the Nets don't have players like that. I mean, they just the Nets have
by design.
Kyrie, without Kyrie and without Durant. They're running, Joe Harris is running around like he's tired. Prince has played in every single game this year, like 25 minutes or more, something like that. Dinwiddie, too. And for the most part, LeVert just got back. But, these guys are playing Temple. These guys are playing a tremendous amount of minutes against a younger, more athletic, more energetic team. And I think if you let them shoot the 3, this is what's going to happen. I mean, and I think it would be remiss of us. We have to mention that this was the most points that the Nets franchise has allowed in regulation in 32 years. We have to mention that before we go forward.
And again, all of those things are things that are at the forefront of my mind and my thinking. But what I'm trying to discern is that systematic. We were older by design tonight. If you mix in Claxton with the actual players who can play, and again, it's hard for me to make that argument because Garrett Temple was pretty good tonight. But if you put the kids who can actually run and jump.
Oh, yeah, it would have helped. Claxton's switchable. He's switchable. We all know this. He can defend out on the perimeter. He's good on the pick-and-roll defense. It would have helped. We don't know if Claxton would have been highly efficient shooting the 3.
You get Claxton to help Jared underneath the hoop. Like Taurean Prince cannot help.
I agree that would have helped. It's speculative, but I agree that would have helped. But I've been a Claxton fan since Game 13, trying to get him into the lineup, but it hasn't happened.
So I mean, and not that, like, I don't think mentally Rodions is in the right place at all. Like, it was just weird. His eyes looked red. He looked like, he just talked on the phone for 2 hours with a girl that was breaking up with him, and he just looked shell shocked. But I would as David Thorpe, Coach David Thorpe calls it, feed him royal jelly, and by banishing him to the bench. And for a player that looks half in shape, I mean, it would kill my confidence if I'm that kid.
No, that I'll agree with. Rhodey got significant minutes in the last game tonight. 3 minutes before the previous game, he was missing for a while, and I know Nolan has checked him since January he was pretty good statistically, but his minutes are all over the place. I wouldn't disagree with that. I've played
there's just been
basketball.
Yeah.
If you do that to any player, it's going to hurt their confidence, I think.
No, there's no opportunity for him to get a rhythm. There's absolutely no opportunity for him to get a rhythm. Like I said, he had a span of about a few games in a row in between December and the first week of January. He was actually getting run. He was putting up some good numbers.
He was actually really good.
In the fishing clip. Yeah, no, he was. He was really good. And then he was banished from the rotation for about 3 weeks. And like the last
Which
time
I don't understand. I didn't understand that.
I didn't understand it either. And I'll throw this at you guys too. And this is where I am at with Nicholas Claxton. I mean, the last time we really saw him play significant minutes was against the Detroit Pistons and Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond's one of the most physical, fives in the NBA, and he stood his ground the entire game. He might have actually outplayed him. And since that game, we really haven't seen him either. We've seen him more in Long Island. So.
Do you mind if I jump in there? Because you know I love Claxton. You know I love him. So, I watch every single minute the kid plays. I pay really close attention to. I mean, I've seen him put post moves on Mason Plumlee. I've seen him grab offensive rebounds over $2, one which was Giannis, and a putback dunk. I saw him put work on Lauri Markkanen in the post. I mean, the kid's skinny, but he like you said, I think I read one of your tweets. You were like, he's skinny strong.
He's skinny strong. He's skinny strong.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, skinny strong. I'll take it. I mean, the kid plays with a lot of heart, a lot of hustle. I thought tonight was I mean, he did play last night in the G League, so I don't know how much that factored into it. But if he hadn't played last night in the G League, I thought tonight was a good night to get him 20 to 25 minutes a game. Why not? Why not? It's like I watched
but
the
not
kid
playing
play,
him. I think tonight is in the last few games as well. I think that this is the price you pay for not spoon feeding this kid minutes. I think at this point you should. There's no reason to not play him. Although, I mean, the thing is, it's like kind of like with Atkinson. It's like if you can't shoot the three above 35%, you're suddenly unplayable. And that's where I'll agree with Eve on one point, is that defense is 50% of basketball. You do have, that's a huge thing. And there are certain things I agree with. Like, you are only as good as who you can defend. And I think Claxton, even though he might not go in there and shoot 34, 35% from three, there's so many other things that he does that would inject life into the team, and he's not a player that, like, I think would lack confidence. I think he might even make 1 or 2 threes a game if you put him in there in the right amount of time. But there's other things that he does, like his pick and roll defense is great. I think he'll rebound. I think he'll deflect passes. I think he can handle the ball. I think he can get into the lane. I think he can do a lot of things. I just think that we're not getting a chance to see it, and I just don't know why. I don't. Maybe you guys have the answer. I don't understand it. Nolan, tell us why.
Well, even if we don't see the offensive repertoire from Nicholas Claxton, if we don't see him knocking down open perimeter jumpers or taking bigs off the dribble, et cetera, I mean, at absolute worst, this is a high-energy guy that can, he plays with infectious passion. He can, start runs, get the team energized. I mean, the best basketball the Nets have played all season is when they had David Nwaba getting significant run, kind of doing that same thing. He was also shooting the ball at 40% clip. That was eventually going to deteriorate.
And that wasn't going to last either. That was fool's gold.
No, that was fool's gold, but he was a high-energy guy that would get up on your best perimeter offensive threat and make his life miserable. And, like, Nick Claxton, I mean, right now he's a little overzealous. He might get in foul trouble, but against your big, against your four, he's going to get up on him. He's going to play with high effort for every last second he gets on the NBA hardwood. And I think we need something like that. So I can't defend him not getting minutes. And
I think if Claxton plays 25 minutes, I don't think Collins goes 11 to 15 from the field. I don't. I think maybe not. He'd still be good. I just don't think he'd be 11 to 15 from the field. And I don't know. I think Claxton would have contested those threes instead of letting him shoot them wide open.
But at this point, what are we trying to save? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to be a 7th or an 8th seed. We're probably going to be an 8th seed. We get to host 2 games at Barclays. Like, I'm all for the youth movement. And that pick that we have in 2020 is lottery protected, right? So, like, at this point, I'm not really sure what we're trying to save. There's nothing really left to save.
And that's been my point all season. It's KD's not coming back. It doesn't make sense for KD to come back. What do you have to gain by playing Garrett Temple 29 minutes?